happening, guys? It's your girl Mina. Welcome back to my channel. You guys already know what it is. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. I know it's Champions League night, but Manchester United always got something going on in their life. Actually, dead Champions League games tonight. Anyways, so I ain't missing too much. Big up to everyone in the chat. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. You know what it is, man. Every week, Double M settings, Mina and Marcel. How you doing, Marcel?
I'm good, thank you, man. Feeling grateful right now. Just had something to eat, so just feeling nice. You know, when you get a plate of food and it's just fill your belly. Been relaxing, looking at a bit of Man United things. Obviously, the Ole conversation as well. But yeah, I've been good.
Let's talk about that anyway. Seeing as you brought it up, obviously, it's the topic of discussion today for just Manchester United in general. Just to say my piece on it, I really enjoyed it. Not because he said a lot of revealing stuff. I think the Haaland thing, the Bellingham thing, we kind of knew about. Declan Rice, I think, is a little bit of news to me. But the other stuff is, for me, it was more like showing his person. Like, I like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a personality, as a character. He talked about, like, obviously when he knew that he was going to get sacked, which was halftime at the Watford game. He said at halftime he knew he was going to get sacked. So apparently some of the players were very overwhelmed and emotional, some of them. So he said, you know, well, whoever wants to play, come on. So he brought on, I saw the screenshots, he brought on, I think, Van der Beek and Marcel, took off McTominay and Rashford. I don't think that means that they didn't want to play. I think it's just that they were maybe too emotional to play. I don't know, but it was a very interesting. It was a very interesting one. But like I said, I don't think it told us anything we didn't know. Do you feel like that?
You know, it kind of highlights a lot of things that we're saying about the quality of players. And when he was talking about taking that next step, you know, just that being able to play against the top three teams in the league, you know, and win and challenge and compete against those kind of level of opponents. We just didn't have it in us. And obviously he had to convert to a more front foot style, having Ronaldo in the team. And he's talking about pressing and Cavani missing out and stuff like that. But, you know, you can just clearly see it now. Those style of managers, when they're asked to demand the front foot football or to start playing it, they can't do it. They can't get the players to do it. Ten Hag's been able to implement it. But again, we just have similar players, you know, that weren't being able to do it last time, and they're showing it now this time, and they're down tools in like they did under Ole. Really good eye-opening conversation though. If you haven't seen it, definitely look, because it's really, really good. But yeah, there's a few other things that was quite eye-opening as well, in terms of, you know, just important things as well. The strength of having a good bench, you know, and him talking about his personal kind of experiences of being a bench player and having to think about delivering coming off the bench, not getting nothing out of Sancho. I think there was
that was interesting. Yeah,
there was a segment where he's saying you're not getting nothing out of Sancho, you know, and that
was interesting to me though. Big up to Aminal with the super chat, says Ollie's sad to see CL7 basically got Ollie sacked. It was very interesting to see that Ollie basically said if he could go back, he wouldn't have signed Ronaldo, because it now that he looks back at it, it wasn't the right thing for the club, and it wasn't the right thing, obviously, for Ronaldo. But in the moment, he said it felt like it was the right thing to do. And then obviously he was quite reflective, where he talked about how he basically changed everything once Ronaldo came in, and he felt like he had his structure, he had his style of play, and he said Edinson Cavani suffered the most, which was kind of obvious, because Edinson Cavani disappeared halfway through the season, where he was injured, and apparently he went back to South America. So it was kind of obvious that that was the case. So what was most interesting to me is that, you know how he said how he told, if you haven't watched it, I'm sorry, spoiler alert, when he was at Mold, is that how it's pronounced? I don't know. If someone's going to correct me in the chat, but when he was at Mold, Haaland obviously was there, young kid, and he told United to sign him, and United said no. So then RB Salzburg came, and he obviously went to United, and he said, let's sign him from RB Salzburg. This guy is going to be amazing. 20 million, he had a release clause at the time. 20 million euros was his fee. They said no. They said that they've looked into him already, and basically they're not interested. And what makes it interesting to me is that in that same interview, he said that the club still didn't know what side to put Jadon Sancho on.
Yeah.
If you could scout Haaland at that age and be like, he's not fit for us, how could you not know which side Jadon Sancho was to play on? Because he talked about how basically Rashford and Sancho both wanted to play on the left. And I just find that kind of interesting.
It's massively interesting, because I feel like it highlights the fact that we were getting business people. This was business people. So they're looking at it as a marketing perspective. you know, in terms of Sancho's marketability, whereas they don't know anything about talent when it's in their face. And Oli definitely does, especially in the forward line. So, you know, it's a big mistake.
If I was going to take striker recruitment from anyone, it would be someone like Oli.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah, be sure to check it out, guys. It's on the overlap. It's like an hour. It's about an hour long. I liked it. I liked Rooney's one as well that they did a couple weeks back as well with him.
Wow, yeah,
they seem to be getting a lot of, you know. And you know what? Also, I realized from this, before we get into all the discussions that we have, what I realized from this is that Roy Keane and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer are really close.
Yeah,
they are very close. Like Roy Keane. So Ollie said that at the beginning of the interview, Ollie said that when he got sacked, Roy Keane came to him in Norway. He drove 8 hours to go to him, took a flight and then drove 8 hours to go to him in Norway, which that's only friends would only do that. But anyways, let's get into it. The real reason that we're here, obviously, there's always United news somewhere out there in the world. We play Everton on Saturday. Are you going to be at the game?
Most probably.
Well, I'll be there
really
too.
Sure at the moment.
I'll see you if you're there. I should be there as well.
Definitely.
But we got Everton on Saturday, followed by a run of very interesting games. We've got Liverpool in the FA Cup, then we have an international break, and then we have Brentford, and then we have Liverpool, and then we have Chelsea, and then we have Liverpool. So we've got a run of 5 games that for me is must win. And a lot of reports out there are suggesting that the next 3 games is do or die for Erik ten Hag. Do you think Erik ten Hag, do you think United will beat Liverpool next week in the FA Cup?
Yes, it's at home. I think it's one of the 2 games out of the next 3 games anyway, because like you say in the reports, I think Everton and Liverpool are the 2 home ones, I think. So, you know, at home, it has to be a demand that we try and beat. Once we have to win at home. That's always an expectation at home. And then, you know, Everton, of course, as well. But for there's got to be the same principle that we played against City, like I've been saying. And by the way, Ten Hag, I doubted that he would do it, but he did do it. He played, you know, the counter-attacking football. The defensive line, the midfield line, and the forward line were quite close together, and it worked. And I like the way that he plays the counter-attacking system, by the way. It's better than Ole's counter-attack.
Don't say that. Come on, man. Come on.
It just needs better players to operate it. That's all it requires.
Listen, we saw more success with Ole's way of playing.
Yeah,
than we have in Ten Hag's way.
Like Ole used to beat City. Imagine that. I understand.
Who did he have? He had the likes of what players did he have? He had who he actually
praised as well.
Player. Fred,
he always
Matic.
No, but he had runners.
Player, did
Pogba,
he have?
He had Pogba as disposal.
Yeah, but all right. I'm not going to argue with that.
I'm not going to argue. Had a world-class player. We don't have a world-class player operating this counter-attack.
Bro, come on.
We don't.
Come on, don't say that. Don't say that. We haven't seen enough of Erik ten Hag playing counter-attacking style football in terms of, you know, like low block and just hit on the counter. We ain't seen enough of that to say that was better than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who practically played that across his time at Manchester United.
Yeah, I can respect that. No, okay, I can retract some of it, but only like I like to throw percentage on things, so only like 30% of it. I'm sorry, I'm gonna only retract 30% of what I'm saying, because literally when you saw how it played out, even against Liverpool away from home, we had like Kobe produces a clutch moment for us, Garnacho Shortlist, and I think there was a couple other moments in that game where we actually had the better looks at the goal against Liverpool away from home. On that low block counter attack, he plays 2 players in the forward line. Something like Ole would play 1 player in the forward line. Ten Hag is still playing 2 players in the forward line and still trying to press. He's still trying to force the issue and get us to press at times. It's just these quality of players are not fit enough to do it.
Bro, come on. This team is better. This team is better than the one that Ole had. This team is better than the one that Ole went to the Etihad and won with. I would actually go far to say that the squad that we have right now is better. Bruno Fernandes, Fernandes, Rafael Varane, Diogo Dalot, Andre Onana. He's meant to be better than David De Gea, no? He's meant to be. The only thing I could say is maybe like Rasmus Højlund versus Lukaku. I don't know. Pogba in the middle. I don't know. Casemiro though maybe was better than whoever was playing in the midfield. Come on, like don't say that. Don't say that Erik ten Hag's team right now is not on par.
Put it this way. Erik ten Hag had the exact same players that Oli did and operated it in that same way that he does against City just the other day, we would have been playing a madness, I think. Because imagine we had Evans and that. Our back four was atrocious against City. Just gone. It was atrocious. The whole team was atrocious. Oli could never counter-attack with this team.
By name,
this team are all counter-attacking players. So maybe
listen. By name, Johnny Evans is not a name that you want on your score sheet, but on your team sheet, yeah. But the way he played against City, I actually thought he was one of our better players. So don't single out players based on the name, because you're right. We shouldn't be having a player like Johnny Evans in the team, but we do. And when he does play, he's good.
Yeah, no, listen, I'll take that back as well. I'm not trying to say that he's a poor player. I'm like, he's been brilliant this season, definitely. So I'll take that back if you think I'm trying to say, single him out. It's just like the caliber of quality that Ten Hag had at his disposal for this match compared to what Ole's usually put out. He's always had a world-class player, Pogba. Imagine if Ten Hag had a Pogba at his disposal, a Lukaku. Ten Hag wants to play, hold up football. With a Lukaku, that's all he's good at. Is hold up really, and then in the box, he's heavyweight and he's a tank in the box. He's gonna bully you. So and then what? And I'm pretty sure. Okay, and even if we look at Varane right now, these are fallen world class players. They're not really okay. Varane kind of sometimes operating at world class level, but Casemiro is not operating at world class level anymore. Neither is Bruno. Neither is Rashford. And Højlund's not around. Garnacho's young player trying to prove himself. I think the way that Ten Hag sets up his counter-attack with two strikers in the forward line, the 3 and the 10, and the 10 that obviously, because it's Scott McTominay, the way he's moving, it's like he runs into to make himself a 3 in the forward line, or he has to go back and help the three midfielders behind him. Mm-hmm. It looked all right. It looked like a very good, and it was a good effort for 45 minutes. I was very proud of that 45-minute performance and how it played out.
Just to quickly, I just had to look at this here because I can't let this argument go. If you've just joined, guys, be sure to hit the like button. We're talking, Marcel brought up a point about how Erik Ten Hag's counter-attacking team is worse than the one that Oli had. When United went to the Etihad and beat City, this was the starting lineup. David De Gea in goal, Ashley Young, Eric Bailly, Smalling and Valencia. Lingard, Matic, Pogba, Herrera, Sanchez, Lukaku. You cannot tell me that this current Manchester United team is not better. You cannot tell me for counter-attacking. So then where's your point then?
No. Sanchez is better. What? Sanchez is better. Lukaku's better. People are going to tell us, even though he's not, David De Gea is better. He's a better goal. He's world-class. Ole would have had.
No. I don't want what people are going to tell us. No. I don't want what people. I want what you're going to tell us. What you're going to tell us is David De Gea better than Onana?
He's not.
Okay, there you go. So already Onana is better. Yeah.
Okay.
The back line: Ashley Young, Eric Bailly, Smalling, Valencia. Versus the back line we went to the Etihad this season. Who's better?
So Eric Bailly is better than our centre backs. Who was our two centre backs?
Varane and Evans.
Lindelof and Evans.
No, Varane and Evans. Don't try and keep Varane out of it. Don't try and keep Varane out of it.
Okay, Varane's better than them two centre backs, but then you got to put maybe Eric Bailly next to him, so it's 1 point each there.
Okay, I'll let you have that. Lingard, Matic, Pogba, Herrera in the middle. Yeah, that's 4 in the middle.
Yeah. That Pogba clearly is.
Pogba's the only one for me that I'll be like, okay, cool. Matic, Casemiro. I'm taking Casemiro. Let's be real. I'm taking Casemiro. Let's be honest.
You're taking Cass over Matic.
The only thing that Matic offers for me over Cass is the height and his ball playing ability from like a deeper position. He's good on the ball.
That's all I need. I don't want you to be rash. I want you to stand on your feet and just slow the counter-attacks. Wait for bodies to come back. Matic is way better than Cass.
And then Sanchez, Lukaku. Technically, in my opinion, guys, let me know in the chat, by the way, what you lot think. Do you agree? Do you think in terms of counter-attacking style football that Erik Ten Hag's team currently is better than the one that Oli had in that particular season? Because I'm being honest, I'm looking at the way that Erik Ten Hag plays counter-attacking football and the way that Oli played it. I think Oli played counter-attacking football genuinely because that was the style of football he wanted to play. I think Erik Ten Hag plays it because he's got no other choice.
Yeah, facts. That's why I'm taking away 30% of my statement, because it sounds mad, because Oli actually mastered it and it looked very good and it was very good. So I got to take some of it back. But at the same time, if Ten Hag has better players operating this style of counter-attack that he has, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Do you okay, let's talk about the style that Erik Ten Hag has, because he's got apparently 3 games to show it. I don't know how true that is, but do you think that he's better off playing in counter-attacking or genuinely the style of football he wants to play? Like the actual style that he wants?
My opinion, or what he's gonna do?
What do you think, what do you think Erik Ten Hag is gonna do for the next 3 games, knowing that it's do or die? These games are do or die games.
So at home against a team that he thinks he's better than, or that we are expected to be, he will play his high block. He will play on the halfway line. He will try and implement his turnovers and try and do the high press. He's going to demand, the shape that Carragher highlighted. He's going to demand that shape all the time. Against Everton, he'll try and go for it and try and win the game. Against Liverpool now, because I've seen him do what he done against City, I can only assume now that he's understood that we are inferior to these type of players. We can't. What did Ole say? Take the next step. That's what That's what we've been trying to talk about as a team right now. That's what we're suffering as a club over the last 5-6 years. We can't take the next step as a team. We haven't been able to beat the teams that are superior to us. We're not on their level. We need to get a whole new squad that can get on their level. That's the issue. But so when he understands that now against City, what he done is he played a very low block and done what Ole and all of these guys, Mourinho, have all been doing, because they know that we have an inferior squad to these other teams right now. So, but the way he done it looked very good for 45 minutes, guys. But the players got tired. The players are not good enough, because he could have been in a 3-0 situation where he could have then advanced the team forward, changed a few more things. We had better looks at the goal earlier because of the way that Ten Hag had positioned us and set us up in this game. So for me, it's like, I don't know. He just needs better players operating this, and then he can get something out of that Liverpool game. I don't know who he plays where, but he can get something out of that Liverpool game. Definitely. If he does the exact same system that he played against City away, it was away as well. It was an away performance. Rashford wraps it into the top corner off the crossbar and nearly could have got a hat-trick if he was on game. It happened. The same thing happened at home, but we actually tried to play. We was actually playing like a mid-block or something. We could have been 2-0 up, 3-0 up before City got their chances and their rubbish penalty shot. Like, Ten Hag knows how to play counter-attacking football. I'm being deadly serious.
Big up to everyone getting involved in the chat. Big up to Aminor says, Marcel, please avoid Saeed TV. Tai and Naji got cooked. I was watching it earlier today. I didn't finish it, but I saw Naji getting cooked. Aminor says, Mina, bring on Saeed TV. He's in the chat now. I think he's busy. Saeed's busy. Don't worry though, I'll get him on soon. Zayn Miasi is back with his mother's credit card. Shout out to his mum. Says Southgate coming to United. We're getting to that. Marcel, that was the manager that we United are linked to that I was talking to you earlier before. Zayn says, Marcel, get ready when Arsenal come to Old Trafford. I wonder if Zayn will actually be going to the Old Trafford game. I doubt it, but I would love to know that. I would love to know that.
That'll be interesting to see him still.
Big up to everybody. Be sure to hit the like button, guys. If you've just come through, the likes and the views not really adding up right now. But as I mentioned, Manchester United, ESPN reported today, Mark Ogden in particular, reported that the Zerbi, Southgate, and Thomas Frank are 3 managers that INEOS are looking at if they are to part ways with Erik Ten Hag. Now, when I saw that, I saw the Zerbi, I said, okay. I saw Frank, I said, I saw Southgate, I dropped my phone. I was on the train, bro. I dropped my phone. I was like, nah, no way. What's your thoughts on that? Because obviously, I know where you stand.
Yeah.
Let everyone else know where you stand.
Well, off air, I said to you, my manager. when I saw the Zerbi, but I believe in Ten Hag, man. This is the guy for the job. It's just, and he's got an advantage over the Zerbi, because for me, I feel like the way the Zerbi plays is so automated. Like, it's like there's literally only 2 or 3 options that the players have when they arrive in the certain positions, and they draw out the defenders from certain positions that De Zerbi wants the opponent to come onto them and press, and it always feels like transitions are happening. So, but it's just very automated. There's no creativity. There's not a lot of beautiful football. It's just going to be the same type of football. Whereas Ten Hag has like a lot of rotations and positional rotations and allows a lot of creative freedom. He wants to, like, at the best form of this team, close to what Ajax were doing. You know, he likes free-flowing football, total football. So I think the potential is a little bit higher, but De Zerbi's the perfect guy for the job if it's not Ten Hag. If you want to implement front foot football or football that's taking the risk, you know, football that's going to be playing in the opposition's half. So,
are you worried though? Because the way that De Zerbi has been playing, especially this season, I feel like it's been a very fluctuating season for Brighton in terms of when Brighton win, they win sometimes impressively in terms of performance, but when they lose, they get their asses handed to them. Is that not scary? Because they've held quite a few goals to teams that, you know, come United, obviously that won't be acceptable. But the only thing that I do think, just to play devil's advocate, is that maybe some of the players that De Zerbi would have at Brighton, he wouldn't have at United. Although one thing I like about De Zerbi, by the way, guys, I like De Zerbi, but one thing that intrigues me is the way that past players always speak about him. I was watching Kevin Prince Boateng. I can't remember where it was on. He was on a podcast. I was watching Kevin Prince Boateng, and he was talking about when he was playing in Italy. I can't pronounce the team name. I don't want you lot to cook me. But when he was playing at Italy and De Zerbi was his manager, he said he was quite old at the time, but De Zerbi still made him feel like he was an important part of whatever he was building in the squad. And it seems like his man management is good from what I've seen. But obviously that's just me just clutching at straws. KG asked me the other day on stream who I would want as manager, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm leaning more towards the idea of Nagelsmann or Amarim. I wouldn't mind De Zerbi. Just the only concern I have, the only point I'm at is that I want a manager who's got a proven record of winning trophies, because I just want United to win.
Yeah.
And it might be contradictory, like I might be contradicting myself and some people might not agree with me, but I don't want to build. I don't want to build. I just want to win. I just want to win right now. If you tell me now 3 years, bring a manager in, 1, 2, second year, you're winning trophies. I bet. Okay, and then you're getting another manager 3-4 years later. No problem. But I think football fans so much, especially United fans, want to recreate what United had with Sir Alex Ferguson, which was the longevity of it. It spanned over how many years? He terrorized the league for so long.
Yeah, I think I understand that element of things as well, but I don't think that's what it is now. I do think everyone accepts it's not going to be a 20-year process. But if you just look at what the previous clubs that are running the league right now have done, it is a 6-7 year process. And they stick with one manager's ideology and upregulate it. They just try and get better at it. And they allow him to obsess with what he's doing and get better and get better and get better and swap players in and take players out and allow him to nurture the world-class players and bring youth players in. That's what happens. You know, that's what's been happening over the recent spans of 7-8 years. Once Alex finally got his hands off the trophies, you know, I knew people had to take over. They were the quick success people. Chelsea, I don't think Arsenal got a couple of titles in there. Maybe they did, but the new process is a 7-year process now, and that's what you have to understand.
Oh, you brought it down from 10 years. You brought it down from 10 years. Now it's 7 years. Guys, if you don't remember, Marcel said it's a 10-year process. Now it's a 7-year process.
Well, no. I can still keep that. In my mind, I think it's still 10. Sir Jim's trying to tell you guys it's 3. But, you know, I heavily disagree with that.
You're not sold on Sir Jim, are you? You're not sold on him.
I'm wearing the green and gold because, you know, I know that penultimately, you know, until 100% of the club is taken over, you know, we have to be true to our roots of the club. Ten Hag still got that. He still wants to promote youth. He's still trying to develop some of the youth players here. Why would you want to get rid of a manager that's doing that? As basic as that, you know, he's got poor talent ID, but put the structure around him, something that we've not had for 10 years, you know, and that will benefit the next 10 and 20 years. I do understand people's sentiment and your sentiment, Mina, of, yeah, okay, you want to win now, but you're not going to be able to beat people that are doing 7 and 8 year processes with the same manager, building dynasties. You're just not going to be able to, you're only going to win like Chelsea were winning every so often. That's not how it works for me. You know, and especially as these people's, their long lineage of the same manager, the same process, working, getting world-class players in to do that. Liverpool's is breaking down now. So they're going to have a difficult period.
But, you know, dynasties come to an end, innit? So, like, Liverpool have had their time. I wouldn't say Liverpool, by the way, was a dynasty. I personally don't think that's a dynasty, what they've built. I think Man City is a dynasty because I don't think 2 dynasties can coexist at the same time. One of them always comes out on top. And when you think of, and I'm sorry, this is a bit off topic, but when you think of Man City and how long they've dominated in comparison to what Liverpool won with Klopp, it's not remotely near each other.
Yeah, it's in and around the same time. They're competitors, really. If like they've been trumped.
But dynasty isn't the term to use when you talk about,
facts.
in my opinion, when you talk about Liverpool, I don't think dynasty is the term.
Facts. I'm just saying it. I'm out of respect to them because they didn't win anything for so many years, and then they were able to. They've been able to be what Arsenal right now, which is second fiddle to the winners. But they were a very good second fiddle, Liverpool, and especially after decades that they haven't been winning anything. I got to give them some respect because they've been putting up a better fight than us, and they're our neighbours. Do you get it? So I have to give them some respect and say they've built something. This manager has definitely, from Lambert and Lallana, he's built world-class footballers, brought them in, had played big games against big Champions League teams, things that we haven't done because we're too busy swapping managers every 2 minutes and not trying to build foundations, not have a structure, not get better world-class footballers in, not let the footballers rule us because that's what they've been doing. We've been overpaying them and having, business people try and pay them, which doesn't make any sense. So,
with INEOS, what I think is going to happen, because I think they've been Jim has been very firm on the idea that they're going to bring in people that play the way that they want to play. When I see United linked to the likes of Southgate and Potter, and I'm thinking, are they just getting yes men? Are they? Is the idea that they want to bring in a yes man manager who will just do what they tell him to do, and he just has to coach it into the players? Are you worried about that? Because that's one of the worries that I have, which is why I think like a personality or a character like Erik ten Hag will not stay, because he might not see the same vision that they see.
So that's a massive worry as well. That's why the green and gold is on as well. They have to prove something to us. The INEOS have to come in at 27.7%. They have to come in and prove something to us.
Bro, come on. You're saying they have to prove. Okay, does Erik ten Hag need to prove something to us? Or if any manager comes in, if Potter comes in, if Zerbi comes in, do they need to prove something to you and fans?
Well, a manager's job is to manage the squad. So he has to prove that he can manage it efficiently, pick up trophies, deliver good, consistent football. But, the structure above him have to be able to deliver the quality of footballers that he wants to continuously improve his footballing vision. Or not just his footballing vision. Now, the way that they want to work it, it's their footballing vision. But they only got 27.7% of that vision. Glazers still have to maybe have a say in something at this table. So that's why I'm still saying they have to prove something to us. With that 27.7%, how much of this mountain can you move? That's the question. So they still have to prove something to me. They have to be able to get quality footballers in for the manager that has been proven already that he can move a percentage of this mountain. He's collected trophies and he's got good finishes, and especially last season. He still has to deliver top 4 or Europe, I would say. I would even give him a buy if it's Europe that he gets. But because he still has to finish his contract out and he knows the deadwood that needs to come out of this club. He knows the players that should leave. So
I got a question, but I'm gonna
process at least, and he's bringing through the youth players as well.
I got a question I'm gonna ask, but let me just quickly do these super chats. Zemiasi comes back and says, "Mina, get tight on versus Marcel versus Rance." That's just gonna be 3 people shouting at each other. Big up to Aminor says, "Mina, if you had to Southgate, Potter, or Frank, none. Thank you very much."
Frank, I like Frank.
I'd probably take Frank out of the 3 of them, but even then, it's not something that I would want. Big up to MUFC, been a member for 3 months. Big up, says, "Get Potter and Southgate as co-managers. Let's get relegated and get done with it." I think MUFC 14 is against the idea of Southgate or Potter. Been a member for 3 months. Big up. And Zayn Miasi with another super chat says, "The next dynasty is Arsenal. Get ready." Listen, Zayn, if you genuinely think Arsenal are the next dynasty, send a £100 super chat right now. If not, I don't believe you. I think you're I think you're just doing a lot of talking and you don't really believe that Arsenal are the next dynasty, because I don't think they are. Personally, I don't think they are. But on the topic of Zerbi, I don't know if you've seen that he's got a release clause. Now, it's funny that we live in a time where managers have release clauses. United still need to agree terms for Dan Ashworth. They're now moving for another head of recruitment as well. I think it's from Crystal Palace. Do you think it's a good idea for United to pay for these people? Pay for a manager, pay for a sporting director, pay for a head of recruitment?
Yes, but you see, because we're like, it's Ten Hag that we're talking about here. Because I feel like you should pay the money for the Zerbi. If it's gonna be,
Hold on. What? Hold on. You said it's Ten Hag that we're talking about. I think we should pay the money for the Zerbi, bro.
yeah, it's conflicting. It really is conflicting because they're both very good managers for this club. I think they both will be successful at this club. That's why it's like, if you want to get rid of Ten Hag, okay, pick the Zerbi. If you don't want to get rid of a manager, keep. And I think it's going to cost 20 million or something to get rid of Ten Hag. So I just wouldn't do it. But at 8.5 million for the Zerbi, if you're obsessed with sacking a manager, which you shouldn't do, I just don't think you should do it. The quality of these players, we need to get rid of this poor squad and get some world-class players in it first before you look at the manager and how he's managing it. It's just rubbish. He's managing rubbish. They've all been managing rubbish for years now. So let's get some quality footballers in. Let's get an idea and a style of play together, and let's let him. And he's shown us that he can do something with this rubbish. So why get rid of him? But at 8.5 million for De Zerbi, how he plays football is very, very good.
So which one is it then? Is it do you want United to pay 8.5 million for De Zerbi, or would you rather them just? Because basically, you're saying it costs 20 million to get rid of Ten Hag.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And then on top of that, they have to pay 8.5 million for the Zerbi's release clause to get him.
Yeah.
So in total, it would take nearly 30 million, close enough to 30 million for them to get a new manager.
Which is madness. So that's why I would never do it. You know, that's
so
why I would never do it. Honor his contract, give him the next season, and he's going to work wonders next season. Everyone's going to be fit and ready. They'll give him a new summer under INEOS structure, or Omar Barada. I don't think Dan Ashworth will be there because that's another thing that I do think Man United should maybe pay the 20 million then. I would pay the 20 million for Dan Ashworth and let him work on getting world-class Premier League proven footballers that can do what Ten Hag's requiring for them to do. Yes, do that. That's a great business still, especially if you're getting, okay, you know, I'm hearing Scott McTominay, Bruno, and maybe Rashford won't leave. But if it's definitely going to be Maguire getting sold, you know, that's going to be money coming in. Casemiro getting sold, that's going to be money coming in. You know, Wan-Bissaka getting sold, that's going to be money coming in. Donny, you know, all these players. If you can,
how much do you think they're going to get for people like the dead weights in the team?
Not much. If we can get maybe 100 million and you're selling maybe 7 players, you know, 5 players, I would be very happy. You know, and then you can just ask Dan Ashworth to make some magic in terms of getting good quality footballers in. And Omar Barada, trust in what they're going to be able to, you know, get me 4 players, sell 7. Because backing a manager, by the way, Mina, is about outgoings. Even more so than incomings. Because because that's where you get the flexibility of the squad. You're now finally extracting a footballer that just was never going to be able to operate at the Premier League and Champions League level in your system. You don't want him. He's surplus to requirements.
What if it's difficult to offload a player?
This is the Ed Woodwardness. This is what I was talking about time ago, calling it the Ed Woodwardness. This is what he's done to us. This is residual. This is the ripples when you throw a stone into the pond. So we're still having to deal with that. We still can't get further into the process. This is going to hinder your team in terms of how you can get world-class players in there. Because people will happily take the 250k like Maguire. And he has perfectly right to, by the way. And he was an excellent professional as well, by the way. Even though we told him he's surplus to requirements, you're not playing all next season. But he's been an excellent professional and been important for us this season. But he still must go. Do you get it? But, you know, he decides to keep his contract because who's to deny him that big contract that he earned? I respect it. But at the same time, you know, we had non-footballing people making these decisions, man. And they're paying astronomical wages and the man's not achieved anything at our football club. And he's not the only one. Maguire's not the only one, but there's just too many of that. Sancho is a massive example of that. And he wasn't an exceptional professional like Maguire was. So it's not just make it to the club. Ten Hag has to deal with all of this, by the way. It's madness.
For me, is the interesting thing with Sancho, and I think it's the most frustrating one, is that United chased him for 18 months. And it's been a waste of basically 3 months, which again goes back to obviously the recruitment, because why would you sign someone that wants to play on the left-hand side when you've got Marcus Rashford, who is your future on the left-hand side? I think it'll be an interesting one because I I don't like. I already said it in it. I don't see Ten Hag staying past the summer. I think, and the reason why I say is not because I don't think he's gonna turn the season around, or I don't think he's gonna win games or anything. I think INEOS are gonna choose to keep him or get rid of him, depending on whether they see him fit for their plan. I don't think they. I'll be honest. I think they care about this season's results, but they know that they've come in the middle of a season, which means they can't really be responsible for how the season ends because they came in the middle, and basically they didn't really get to do much work until the summer. So for them, the summer is their fresh start is their first year. I think Erik ten Hag doesn't. There's just something that's telling me that because he joined United and asked to be in charge of not be in charge of, but he asked to have a say on transfers and everything. He knew what he was getting himself into. I think he knew what Jose Mourinho and Louis van Gaal and previous managers, the experiences that they went through working under the Glazers and Ed Woodward at the time, etc. I think he knew that, which is why he asked for that. But now, do you think that he'd be willing to give that all up, knowing that the Glazers are still involved with the club to an extent, and he will have to play the way that the sporting project wants him to play? What if the sporting project, is just pure counter-attacking football? Do you think Erik ten Hag would want to do that?
Do I think Erik ten Hag would want to do that? I think yes. I do think he would, because he's said in interviews before that he's worked under structures where he's got the main power, and he's worked under structures like Ajax where he's had control of, of certain elements of the footballing direction. I also think he has a world-class counter-attacking system. I really do. I genuinely do believe that.
You just said that he has no world-class players. But you just said before that he has no world-class players when he plays counter-attacking football.
Yeah.
So how can he have a world-class system, a counter-attacking structure, if the chess pieces in it are not world-class?
Yeah, so because I'm imagining it at its highest level in my mind.
You're imagining something that's not there yet.
Yeah, yes. But just why I was saying that he doesn't have any world-class players, I meant in the sense of when you look at the team sheet, there's no world-class players. So the way that he wants them to play or operate, there's going to be loads of mistakes. They're not going to be fit enough to do it. In tight spaces, they're mostly going to lose the ball. High risk pass, they're not going to be able to make. All these other elements that world-class players, when they're asked to do it in the moments, they can achieve this and they can execute these things. So the way that whole game happened, world-class players might take the free chances that Rashford has. And they might defend, instead of pointing at Phil Foden cutting inside on his left foot, which is what Lindelof does. Yeah. A world-class player gets right tight next to him, doesn't let the shot fly off. Do you get it? Makes the block.
Let me ask you a question then. Let me just to be devil's advocate, because we were talking about earlier in the stream, guys. If you just joined, we were talking about Ollie's counter-attacking teams in comparison to Erik ten Hag's. If that was Lukaku in Rashford's position against Manchester City, do you think he puts those chances away? Seeing as you said that Lukaku is the better one out of the two managers' options for that counter-attacking style.
Yeah, so he got it. He got the ball in a 2. He's a forward line player in a 2. Would Lukaku be playing in a 2? Maybe in the counter-attacking system, he would have to do it. And you'd most likely to prefer to come off the right. But for those 3 chances, the worldie, Lukaku doesn't have that in his locker. The first one.
Okay, so the other 2 chances because Rashford's been heavily quick. I don't even think they were chances. I think they were half chances.
The one way he has to head it down.
He headed it down. He should have just headed it forward.
Yeah, that one, I think Lukaku protects the ball better against Kyle Walker. He's not going to beat it for pace, but he's going to bully him and protect the ball and arrive at the goal. The basic Rashford. Just at least arrive at the goal and take the shot.
Yeah.
And then the volley across the body, Van Basten-esque, it's not in that angle and nowhere near that position and that trajectory and height and quality, but it's from the same area of the pitch. Bruno scored that against Burnley actually this season, from that same kind of technique or position. He should bury that, but that's on Lukaku's right foot that will be falling on. So
forget like the technicalities of the right foot and the left foot. I'm just saying if it just falls to him,
should score then.
Because you're praising, I guess, Erik ten Hag's football structure when it comes to counter-attacking, but I've already said it. I think his counter-attacking is making use of the situation that he's in but it's not a football that he thrives in, or the type of football he wants to thrive in. I don't think it's because he doesn't have the players. I just don't think it's his style. You know, when Erik ten Hag came into Manchester United, he said he wants to play possession-based football. Counter-attacking football is the complete opposite of possession-based football. That's why I don't see Erik ten Hag having, because you said he has a world-class counter-attacking structure for it. Yeah. I don't see that. I can't imagine that, because that goes completely against everything he technically would have said when he came into Manchester United, which was, I want to play ball dominant football. I want to be possession style, you know?
Yeah. So I understand that from the point of just bringing it to the structure. If INEOS said, we want a counter-attacking manager, you're now saying, okay, because of what he said and who Ten Hag is in terms of his philosophies, what he believes in, he wouldn't be able to produce great counter-attacking football. But I'm now saying to you, if you just look at what he produced against the best team in the last decade, on the last 5 years, a counter-attacking style with 3 disciplined lines, really good opportunities that he created that goal. Again, I think we had the better looks, especially in the first half. If you have
which game are you talking about? The City game?
Pardon?
I'm talking about the City game.
Yeah. If you have Newcastle's players there instead of Manchester United players, and they're playing in the manner that Ten Hag wants them to play, you've got a mad basketball match happening there. And it's a crazy game. There's bare goals. That's, in my opinion, I might be making this up, but we'll see what happens when Ten Hag gets better footballers under the INEOS structure. You lot are gonna see not counter-attacking football, because I don't think Omar Barada wants to play counter-attacking football, by the way, Mina. Yes, he wants to play possession-based football, which is what Ten Hag. All of these Spanish managers grew up on what Ten Hag slept. Do you get it? Like, Ten Hag sleeps and eats this. You know what the Spanish players grew up on. Ten Hag eats and sleeps it. It's come from his cult.
Well, we ain't got any Spanish players, bro.
Huh?
We ain't got any Spanish players. You're talking about.
No, but I'm talking about Omar Barada. I'm talking about Omar Barada, Barcelona.
He ain't Spanish. Omar Barada ain't Spanish. He's North African. I think he's got Spanish. Like he's
working at Barcelona, no?
He was working at Barcelona. Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like that culture of football that he's grown up and understood. He's not Spanish. Take that back. But you know that culture that he's grown up on. Ten Hag was born in it. That's all that Ten Hag knows is total football. So now when you get the opportunity to implement that in the Premier League, he struggles. Anthony's not good enough for the Premier League. Malacia clearly not durable enough. His talent ID, he needs to get that worked on. I think he'll be so happy to get rid of some of the keys. He even said it, that managing this football club, there's a lot of things that you need to do. He said this before in pressers. Please listen to what he's saying. He said it before that there's a lot to do. So if somebody comes in and takes a few things away from him, which I think they should do, and give him one more season, I promise you all right now, next season will be a madness.
I'm going to come back to that because I'm going to challenge it. Big up to Big Game Player with the super chat says, so true, managing rubbish and achieving miracles. I think that's in reference to Erik ten Hag. Okay, I'm going to try my best to say this name. Big up to, I need to come closer to my screen. Oluwa Damile. I think I got it right.
That's okay.
I think I got it right. Big up for the super chat says, Marcel, if you're a new manager, won't you do your research on player profiles before you arrive? Why are we giving Erik ten Hag this excuse like he was blind? Go on, I'll need you to answer that.
You don't shy away from the challenge. Erik ten Hag came months early. He watched the last game. He was at Crystal Palace. He was in South London watching our last football match against in the previous season. So he's doing his homework early. The structure let him down in terms of getting the quality that he felt he needed to upregulate the squad and the vision that he wanted to play. I'm highlighting Frankie de Jong in that mainly as well. Kobe was always part of the plans, got injured, I think, not this season, I'm talking about next season and the following season, so another thing there. But and just overall, the structure let him down. I don't think it was meant to even be Martinez, in the squad and all these kind of things. There was meant to be other people in place. Harry Kane, I think, was part of that as well. All these sort of things. So he done his homework. I think this man knows what he's doing. Trust me, Ten Hag knows he's a very good coach. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. It's just if you look at our football club over the last 10 years, it's the quality of the squad of the players. They're not that good, and then forget not that good. Then look at the opposition that you're in the same league with. Nobody's on City's or Liverpool's level. You know, it's Man United, machine for machine. We're not on their level. Let's get some players that are on their level and then look at Ten Hag's system. It's a wrap. What he's asking them to do, if they can do it, it's a wrap. I'm telling you.
Do you think Ten Hag should have praise for integrating academy players into the team?
Yes, because no other managers, Jose Mourinho wouldn't dare do it. He just wouldn't dare do this. He was never going to do that with the pressure at this football club. Ole, shout out to Ole.
Did
Ole knows
Jose
what it
not
means.
am I wrong, guys, or didn't he give Scott McTominay his debut? I might be wrong.
and said he's like the best player ever in the academy, and look like he was violating because he was done that as a moan because he couldn't get his actual Warriors that he wants to get, Perisic and that.
But come on, like, look how many. Every manager, I don't agree with Scott McTominay, by the way. But every manager has gone on to play Scott McTominay. So clearly there's something in him. And even Ollie mentioned it in his overlap interview today. He said that he needed people in the midfield that would run. And I think that's what United actually missed this season. We don't have runners. He mentioned 3 people by name. He said Fred, Matic, McTominay. Those were the 3 names that he said. And Fred, we know what he's capable of. McTominay, we always say he's running around headless all over the pitch. And what happened? Erik Ten Hag still using him. Jose Mourinho used him. I don't think Erik Ten Hag is really the only one to bring in an academy player successfully.
No, he's not the only one, and that's not what I'm really trying to dispute. If I'm trying to dispute from the angle of, are we trying to praise Ten Hag for bringing in youth players? Yes. Has it been at a better rate than the other managers? Yes. Has it been better quality youth players than before? Yes. Let him continue doing his work. You know, that's the kind of standpoint I'm looking at it from. You know, Scott McTominay, Mourinho wasn't doing it every week 3 or 4 youth players. You know, every week it's 2 youth players they're on the bench. He's not complaining about that. That it's the younger players that he's playing instead of senior players. Ten Hag's used to this environment. He's brought a whole set of youth players into Champions League semi-finals. So he's very happy to play them if they're good enough. Do you know what I mean?
Let's not talk about Ajax. I'm talking about specifically United because I think when you look at the crop of players that he's brought through in terms of academy players, especially the 2 that have been successful, I think whoever is manager at Manchester United at that time would have brought them in regardless. Do you know why I think that? Because they are 2 players that were very key to the FA Youth Cup win, the year that Erik Ten Hag was coming in. And inevitably, I always think that 1 or 2 players, when United academy players win silverware, they get an opportunity to a promotion to the first team.
I think we're missing Angel Gomez. Then why is he?
Angel Gomez I don't think he stood the chance in Man United's midfield, unfortunately. I don't think he got a fair chance. But there was other people that got opportunities. You know, Louis van Gaal was infamous for bringing through academy kids.
Yeah. Of course. I'm not saying. Again. So him, he was in a rebuild, similar to what Ten Hag really is in right now. You know, and they all kind of should be anyway, because they just it's a whole different thing. They had business people trying to make marketing decisions. So Schweinsteiger, Falcao, Di Maria. These are not players that are coming at the twilight of their career. They've had their better careers elsewhere. Varane, Cristiano Ronaldo again. Well, you know, all these players, we don't need them. You need the new hungry footballer coming up and coming. Haaland, Jude Bellingham. You know, you need these ones. So, you know, and that's what the managers have been asking, but, you know, business people have been making these decisions. But Louis van Gaal's situation, it was a complete rebuild, you know, and they were trying, you know, a lot of those players were very old. So Louis van Gaal, and again, I don't even want to talk about Louis van Gaal. It was just weird. It was very weird what he was doing, because it felt like counter-attack, but I don't know. He just had so many players at the back because he really trying to force the build-up elements. It was mad.
And that's why I'm not gonna lie. I don't trust the Dutch manager since Van Gaal. I'm kidding. I'm joking. But that was a traumatic time. Louis van Gaal was a traumatic time. I just don't get why people always attribute Erik Ten Hag to because he's even said it himself in the press conferences when he's like, I bring Mina through, That's what he says. I bring Gunnar. He's talking. But bro, you were gonna do that regardless. And I don't think Kobbie Mainoo. This might be a hot take. If Mason Mount was fit, Christian Eriksen was fit, Casemiro was fit, I don't think Mainoo would have got as much time as he has, I don't think he would have started consistently. I think he would have been like Garnacho last year, where, you know, he gets 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, maybe a start in like the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup, and then he'd get slowly integrated into the team. Garnacho, for me, is only getting playing time right now because Sancho decided to do nonsense. Facundo Pellistri never stood a chance, in my opinion. Anthony, the manager, finally realizes that he's shit, and he's like, who else can I play there? He's literally, Eric Ten Hag is literally, and that's why Garnacho has played 24, 25 games in a row.
Yeah, and it's brilliant for his development, and I think that's a similar kind of trajectory that Rashford had. You know, there's just no footballers available, or they're not operating at good enough. And
sometimes you just need luck. You're right. Rashford.
And we forgot to mention Marcel, that just doesn't want to play football for the club anymore.
He's injured, man. Come on, like
he just doesn't want to play football for the club anymore. You know, they're not available.
He's literally had a surgery.
Varane and Bruno are playing injured for weeks now, and okay, yeah, he might have surgery, but when he was kind of dysfunctional, you could still try and risk it and play for the club. And I'm not. And to be honest with you, I've been saying I wanted him sold for 2 years ago, since 2 years ago anyway. So I'm not going to even say much about him, but you have to take an opportunity talking about Garnacho, and it's good for his development. You know, plenty football matches, but I think Ten Hag's been excellent in bringing for youth players, and I think Kobe would have always been part of Ten Hag's plans because he's that good of a player. Kobe and Frankie de Jong can play in the same team, definitely.
Do you think that's going to happen?
God willing. If Ten Hag gets his way and he gets his man, then, you know, Frankie de Jong, Kobe Manu, that's blessings.
Well, Frankie de Jong just went off in the weekend with an injury.
Is it?
So would you want Eric Ten Hag to sign another player that's got injury problems? Because one of his midfielders that he signed, we've seen him like 4 times.
Yeah, Ten Hag's weird, man. He's purchasing a lot of injured players. I don't know why, but I think he would, if Ten Hag had an opportunity to sign Frankie, he's signing him. Just put it that way. And Barcelona look like they've got him on astronomical wages, and they're on low trophies right now. So they're going to want to offload somebody. Frankie de Jong could very possibly have to change career. The prodigal son coming back, you know, to the guy that raised him. You know, it makes sense.
To the guy that raised him. I'm dead. I personally can't handle another Frankie de Jong summer, guys. I'm gonna be real. I got family holidays planned this summer. I got a lot of plans this summer. Yeah, I ain't got time to be every day doing a stream like, I'll be signing Frankie de Jong. Is this? Oh, here's how Frankie de Jong's gonna fit into United. No. I can't do that. You lot might get one video of me chilling in a village with camels and goats and shit behind me, and say, yeah, here we go, Frankie de Jong coming to United. That's it. Because I genuinely cannot handle that summer that we had with the Frankie de Jong saga. That was madness. And I can't personally, I can't deal with that.
INEOS won't let happen.
Nah, I don't think they will. I feel like INEOS know who they want, but we're going to come back to that as well. Okay, I'm going to have to try to say this name again. Big up to Oluwadamile. You know, I've got Nigerian friends in it. That's why I know how to pronounce some of these. I know this is a Nigerian name. Big up for the super chat. I appreciate it. It says, the only manager that has a defined style of play in his previous job is the Zerbi/Nagelsmann. Marcel, what was Eric Ten Hag's style at Utrecht? It was counter attack. Is that insinuating that he changes his style of football depending on the team that he's at?
I don't know, but it's only for me that just shows how, you know, that shows that counter attack that I saw against Man City. Give me some world-class players that play counter attack, you know, and that's a dangerous counter attack. The way that he operated, what he's demanding from the players in that system, it's madness. So I think it's, you know, if he's playing at Utrecht, what was his stats like? How was his percentage? What kind of football? Was it good football? I'd like to see that. I need to look at that so I can understand more of how he wants to play his counter attack. But yeah, Nagelsmann, I don't really like him.
Why don't you like Nagelsmann?
I don't really like any of the other managers. I don't think I think right now it's too much of a hot seat, this club, in terms of managing the pressure and the egos. I don't know much about Nagelsmann's style of football. I've only really been focusing on the Zerbis. Even I think you said Almiron, the other guy, what's his name?
Yeah, Almiron.
Yeah, Almiron. I haven't been watching. I haven't been really watching people. Like, you'd have to educate me on as to why you want them so much. in comparison.
Another manager that we've actually been linked to, someone said it in the chat, and I did see it earlier today as well, is Thiago Motta, which to me it's crazy that I'm saying Thiago Motta is a manager, because that is a player that I grew up watching. That's a player I'm shocked that he's not he was playing football like 2 years ago in my head. Obviously he retired a long time. He retired I think let me see how long ago he retired actually. He didn't retire that long ago. He only retired like 5-6 years ago. But I do remember him when he was playing at Inter, etc.
That's a player, man.
It's weird. But what's interesting is his style of football is quite similar to the way that Erik ten Hag wants to play, or what Erik ten Hag tries to play with this team, where he plays a 4-3-3 on paper, but I think in build up is different. It's like a 2-7 something. It's like two in the back and then 7 like just in the midfield and then 2 forwards. Whereas Erik ten Hag vacates the entire midfield and the back line and just pushes everyone into the front line. But let's just quickly, because the title says it, Southgate.
No way.
Not even if he wins the Euros.
No, this is madness. This is just madness. This is pragmatic football 101 again. And it's individual brilliance, which, okay, Man United's about that. But it's just pragmatic football. And he doesn't know anything about sauce. He doesn't know about anything about no seasoning, no flavor. He's bland. It's the talent ID, what he sees as the right. So maybe for INEOS, like you said, a yes man, somebody that's going to literally, these are the footballers we want at the club. This is how we want it to look like. This is the kind of talent we want to bring into the club. Then it's basically Omar Brada's team, but with a mouthpiece, basically. Someone that can just, say all the right things, try and get the best out of the players and their ideas and visions of what they want. But if you want, football creativity and a manager that still has the character, can speak well to the media, talk about the game in a front foot kind of way, demand front foot style of football, you've already got the manager.
Are you worried that United could become like a boys' club? Because I'm pretty sure Dan Ashworth worked with Southgate at the FA.
Is it?
And a lot of the people that United are going after in terms of senior positions, it seems like some of them have crossed over at some point in their careers with one another. So it looks like to me, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is going around and just trying to assemble the Avengers from different places in England.
Yeah, it could be a domestic Avengers, but so I understand that. Yeah, it could be the England spin-off or whatever. But it's the best in class, what it looks like anyway. When we're talking about Dan Ashworth, it's the best in class and somebody that's able to have a good eye and a good price as well, a good price point as well. And that's what we've been struggling with. That Man United tax is heavy. It's heavy. So, if you can get players in at a good price point, that's a good start. So.
Big up to Oluwa. I'm just gonna say Oluwa at this point, because every time I come forward to read my screen, I can't see properly. The brightness is killing my eyes. Big up to Oluwa with another super chat. Says it wasn't good football, but he got results. Very pragmatic. Nagelsmann was fired for not footballing reasons. Please research his style at Bayern. I think Nagelsmann was fired for other reasons, because of players and just some other stuff. One, I was gonna say something. Yes, we were talking on the Full View the other day, and I wanted to hear your thoughts, because we're talking about Erik ten Hag's talent ID, and you said that obviously it's rightly so that he should be criticized for his talent ID. And Kenny said that Martinez is a bad signing. Do you agree with that?
Nah. I tried to argue that point with him, and I tried to explain that he was conflating two different things. Like, maybe you're conflating a good signing with something else that I was trying to say as well. I couldn't remember what I was saying in that particular thing back then. But if you watch it back, I was trying to explain to him that he's conflating the two different things. It was wild what he was saying. Martinez is a fantastic signing. His availability hasn't been good, but he's a key player in our team. And you was rightly the first person to say that's our player of the season, early doors. When we first purchased him, early doors, you were saying that. And he's proven to be that. He's proven to be a Manchester United player. His ceiling is just as good as well. It's not actually, but he needs to get to a certain level where it's a Cannavaro kind of level. A Ballon d'Or, short, but can force aerial duels, because he's not going to be able to win all of them. We saw against Brentford when he first came into the team and getting trampled all over. But as long as he can force the aerial back, the duel. The passes through the lines is world class. There's not many centre backs doing that. He's not fast, and with a foot injury, he might get even slower. So that's going to be an issue. But if Luke Shaw goes there and competes with him, that's your 2 left centre backs sorted for at least another good 5-6 years. Then you need your world class your right centre back. Every single top 6 team, Man City, they somehow landed on what Diaz Stones or whatever it is. Liverpool, again, the structure gave them Van Dijk. We had Yap Stam back in the day, we had Rio, we had every team that gets to that caliber is not having Maguire, Lindelof, an old trampled Varane, all these. They're not going to have these. They don't have these footballers. They have a certified bad man that you can trust in the last line of defense.
Is it just the defense though? Because we've seen the topic of Bruno and Rashford. Do you think that if United are gonna have an overhaul of their squad, it needs to be done across all positions?
Yeah, I've been hearing rumors that there's certain players that won't leave, like Scott. I know you said every manager's thrown the hat on him, but I don't know if it's the structure of the club saying, we really like Scott. There's no way you can get rid of him. I don't know if it's the structure of the football club. By the way, I was saying that I made this claim. Remember, I made this claim saying, look, Ten Hag might have been forced to hold on to Bruno and Rashford. I'm not saying this, but I said that months ago. And, I'm hearing that.
Bruno's your guy.
He is my... No, but he is my guy. You're right, Mina. Oh, I love Bruno Fernandes, but I still have I love the club more.
Will you cry if he leaves?
No, not because Ten Hag really... Because, again, what Ten Hag's doing is much more beautiful or more important for the football club than what Bruno's been doing. Do you get it? Ten Hag's trying to get rid of the deadwood. He's promoting the youth. And for the first time since Louis van Gaal, I'm seeing, risk football, high risk football, possession football in the opposition's half. We just don't have the footballers to operate it. It's very simple. We just don't have those footballers to operate at a Premier League caliber winning level. But Ten Hag's trying to get rid of them players. He overspent on Anthony, and he doesn't have good talent ID. Okay, every other successful manager in their 7-8 year process, I can name you, they've done that as well. Nolito at City was mess.
Yeah, but come on, Pep had.
I can keep going, and I can do all for Klopp as well.
Pep had a rep. Pep came in with a rep where he could make those mistakes. He can make those errors.
Ten Hag came in with a good first season where he should be given respect and given time and looked after when you have mitigating circumstances and protected, and you should be backed properly, and you should be allowed to have your outgoing properly. When you say that a man's surplus to requirements, get rid of him, back your manager fully. The structures failed him. So let him honor out his last contract, the last season, and you're going to watch him do a madness and end up saying, we want you back, we want you to stay. That's what's going to happen at the end of next season when he just smashes the season, because everyone's fit, ready. If INEOS give him they have to prove something to us. They've only paid 27.7%.
You're so... It kills me how adamant you are that INEOS have to prove something to us, because... And I agree, but I think the same goes for Ten Hag. I agree that I think the same goes for Ten Hag, that Ten Hag has to prove stuff. Ten Hag has to prove that he's the man that this is a freak season, that he has to prove that this is a freak season, that everything that he's dealing with this season is out of the norm of what he would usually deal with and how he would usually react in a 12-month or 10-month season, however long the season is. I think because you place so much emphasis on Sir Jim needs to prove to us, they still haven't proven it. They're not proven in the Prem. And that is 100% true. They're not proven in the Prem. We don't know what they're going to do. They could come in and they could say all this stuff, but then the next 3-4 years, it could be exactly like how it's been under the Glazers. You're right. But why is that not the same for Ten Hag? Do you think Ten Hag has credit in the bank? What, just because of last season?
Yes, thank you. So it's exactly that, Mina. I've seen him work and operate with a rubbish squad and produce something. And achieve better than what the previous managers achieved. So the previous managers achieved 3rd place in the trophy. He's achieved 3rd place in the trophy, but also playing a bit more of a front foot style of play for me. So, and then his target is to go and play even more front foot style of play.
Yeah.
So I just think on that premise alone, and especially it being his first season, I don't think... Did Mourinho have a better first season than him? I don't think so.
Mourinho?
Yeah.
Mourinho won the Carabao Cup and the Europa League in his first season.
In his first season?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. What position did he finish?
I can't remember what position he finished in the league. I think he finished, I don't want to say second. I think that was the next season. Let me actually check the Premier League. Sorry, guys, just bear with me. That was the 16-17 season.
No, I take that back. I take that back though. If he
finished
wants,
sixth.
see, there you go.
But come on. No, don't say here we go, because United are sixth right now. We're sixth right now.
Oh, that's right. With mitigating circumstances.
But if Ten Hag this season won Europa League and Carabao Cup and finished sixth, you wouldn't be saying that. You wouldn't be saying, "Oh, look, he finished sixth. He won two trophies." You wouldn't say nothing.
No, because I'm judging it on first season's work and first season's work. This would be now second season's work and first season work that you just was trying to explain. I'm going off of first season's work. He finished 6 and 2 trophies.
Okay, let me put it like this.
He finished third in a very elite. And by the way, I feel like the competition, especially this season now, is ultra hard. But it's like this last season, it was very difficult level of competition. So
let me put it like this: when United finished sixth under Jose, and even though it was his first season, you're right, it's his first season. Yeah. United finished 69 points. With 69 points, yeah? They finished with 5 losses, 15 draws, and 18 wins. So the draws were drawing, it wasn't good. United at 6 this season, bro, we got 11 losses.
Yeah. Because we're playing front again.
And on top of that, I don't even think, guys, honestly, I don't think we're going to get 69 points. That's what Jose finished with in his first season. And it's not because I like Jose, but honestly, it's because the facts are there.
No, but the facts are hiding something that Ole speaks about, that Mourinho speaks about, that Ralph speaks about, that Ten Hag speaks about, that Ole just spoke about in a second about taking the next step. They're taking the next step. Mourinho was playing a style of football that's never going to take the next step, basically. And he amassed however many points he amassed in his first season. I don't care about the second season, because the point we were talking about was referencing.
No, but if we compare second and second, but you just said that it's unfair for us to compare first season and second season for one manager and first season for the other. If we do second to second or first to first, Jose trumps Ten Hag in every single way.
No, because so first to first, he finished 6th in the league.
But he won Europa League and the Carabao Cup, which as a result got him Champions League. So it didn't even matter that he finished 6th. He won the Europa League, so they got through to Champions League. It didn't matter where they finished in the league.
Yeah, but it does matter, because over 38 games, you played a 6th place level of football. Over 38 games.
But less losses.
Yeah, I'm gonna explain that bit as well. I was coming to that because that was your counterpoint, the points and the losses. But so after first season's work, you finished with a quality of football that only rewards you a 6th position in the league. After 38 matches of style of football, play, structure, implementation of tactics, philosophy, Ten Hag finished 3rd position within the league. That's already superior to Mourinho, in my opinion. The way he was thinking already with rubbish. He had rubbish. Ten Hag had rubbish. He's finished 3rd. Yeah, and got you a trophy and got into 2 finals, similar to Mourinho. He had a superior season to Mourinho. I don't care what anyone says. Second season to second season now, mitigating circumstances in Ten Hag's second season. It's clear and obvious as day. It's clear and obvious as day. Every single purchase this man has made has been injured. Onana injured, Højlund injured, this one injured, that one injured, Malacia injured, everybody injured. What's going on? Everybody's been injured, man. What's going on?
So bro, you just said I can't believe it. I want to come to your yard and beat you up right now. Like, I actually can't believe what you just said. You just said that Erik Ten Hag's first season trumps Jose's first season because he finished 3rd in the league. The third didn't win that shit.
Yeah, and neither did 6. But what I'm talking about is the struggle of completing 38 football matches against a pool of other teams, and that's why I can come on to the next bit where you're saying about the points and the losses in particular as well. Again, for me as a footballing fan, embarking on what Ten Hag's trying to do, which is playing in the opposition's half with his 11 footballers in the opposition half, and enacting what Mourinho does, which is put his 11 footballers in his half, is like it's chalk and cheese. Like the bravery and the courage of football is playing in the opposition's half and trying to break them down and pressing. And this is what all Ten Hag's trying to do, and he needs footballers to do it. Mourinho was he wanted warriors that are clinical at finishing, that know what their jobs are, that are rigid, and that will make sure that we lose no games at home, and we're happy to stay tight, be compact, and go and count and do world-class counterattacks every single time. And we have world-class finishers, free-flowing footballers in the forward line. But Ten Hag wants every single player to be smart enough to guard spaces while risking everything in behind, and wants that to be the whole 90 minutes relentless, like what Liverpool have implemented, like what City have kind of implemented, or like what Newcastle have implemented, when you have the footballers fit enough with the quality and the ability to do it. We've never seen a footballer in our team with that caliber. That's why we're so happy about. That's why every manager has to play Scott and Fred, because they can do the 60-yard dashes for the counter-attack, and they can do rest defense and ball regains. That's why every manager wants them. But why not have that with a world-class player like Jude that can do that both sides, or like Declan Rice that can? Why not upregulate it and get world-class players that can do it? And that's all we need to do with Ten Hag. It's really simple.
Let's get onto the Everton game. Let's talk about the Everton game. Obviously, 12:30 kickoff. I got a good record at Old Trafford. You know, I think I've got a good record. I think I've only seen one loss there in the last 6 years or the last 7 years that I've been going, which is actually not bad because I go a couple of games this season. How do you think United are gonna do? I think Rasmus Højlund could be back as well, so that could be a positive depending on, you know, whether he starts or not. I think players are still downbeat over the City game, but I'm worried, but not in the worried that United are going to get played off the park. I'm worried that United are coming off the back of a loss. The media has ripped into, you know, some players, and then on top of that, Everton are fighting for their lives right now. Everton are fighting for their lives.
Last season, we would have got angry hug. We would have got angry hug settings. Last season, normally off the back of a loss, a big embarrassing loss. You know, he's out there doing the runs with them. You know, they're coming straight back in, and they usually win the game before. They usually had a good, you know, turnaround performance after an embarrassing loss last season. But again, mitigating circumstances. There's no rhythm within this team. There's no flow and pattern within this team. There's no regularity in this team, consistency in this team. So, you know, it's going to be chalk and cheese. And when one player loses their temperament or things or adversity comes, everyone drops their heads. It's not comfortable, that we're not believing in the work. You need better players that have the rigidity to always be brave to take on the ball in difficult situations. And always. These players are nothing players. We've seen this before, you know, especially the core group that Ten Hag's been able to put out. Against Everton, we have to play front foot. That's what he's always done. Mina. Even against City at home, he played front foot. You know, he tried to go machine for machine. Just Ten Hag, Amrabat kind of got bullied a lot, and Scott McTominay missed the early chances. And then even second half, because we went 1-0 down towards the end of the first half, he took off the substitutions to make us more attacking, to go for it. Do you get it? That's the kind of manager he is. He wants to win the game. So he's gonna play a high line, you know, and players are gonna have to press. And if we can get the early 2 goals, if Højlund's playing, we win the game. If Højlund is playing, we win the game.
Are you worried that, like, without Højlund, where the goals are gonna come from?
Rashi will score again. It's at Old Trafford. Rashi will score. He's got a point to prove right now. Rashi will score again. He just looked like he wasn't fit again, and then people were upset about the Kobe substitution. We've been saying it on United View. Kobe don't look right. He doesn't look like, and he's never looking. He's never been like a Scott McTominay. He doesn't look like his mechanics as a Scott McTominay. He looks like he's in cruise control. He looks like he's a Pogba, but even slower. Pogba weren't fast. He just looked like he was in cruise control. It's like Kobe's like half of that pace even. It's not even like he's blown or anything. It's just he ain't got the burners in like that. Everything is elegant. Everything is already premeditated. That's why it looks so smooth. Do you get it? It's that that's how he plays. He's not going to be energy, rustle and bustle. So you need 2 players around him. Not Casemiro that's, you know, overcommitting all the time and ain't got the legs. Not Bruno that's reckless and always out of position. You need 2 rustle and bustle heavy, Onana. And maybe you can get away with a Bruno. But Onana from Everton and another Jude Bellingham, that's 2 solid footballers around him, and he can do the pretty stuff.
Yeah, bro, we're never getting Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. I was just saying because I used to say it from back in the day. I was one of the people that was saying get Jude, get Jude, get Jude. So I'm just saying that profile of player that can do all elements, like a Declan, like a somebody else that can do all the elements of midfield play. But you know, once we get those kind of players, you know, those proper players, you know, Kobe, Hoyland, even Garnacho has the potential to be a top player, you know, for us. But these kind of players are going to be the one that are going to be winning the games for us. So without them, it's difficult. Who else do you put there? Yeah, even on the right, like who plays on the right wing? He's still doing this Amari Forson and he's still doing this not playing Ahmad. I was telling people from since last season. I was telling Fleck from last season. Ahmad's the one. He's doing it at Sunderland. You was doing reports.
Why do you think he's not playing him?
See, KG made a really good point in the sense that, listen, if what Ten Hag's done, the work that he's done so far, you know, why don't we trust him? And I can agree with that sentiment, and I think that I've always believed that maybe let's trust what Ten Hag's doing. But with this one, I know Ahmad's a bad man, you know, and should maybe even play in the 10 if maybe play Ahmad in the 10 and let Bruno do the running yards on the right midfield. But I don't know. I really don't know. It's weird. And then I'm seeing all these excellent clips in training, and I'm seeing Anthony mess up, and then I'm seeing Ahmad do something excellent. I'm seeing Ahmad skip past two players, then I'm seeing Anthony over dribble. It's weird. That why does
you know what it is? I've said it. I've said what I think the reason is why. I said it on Saeed's stream. People weren't having it, but I said I think it's because Ten Hag doesn't want people that are technical players in terms of possession, because we're not playing possession football at the moment. So, and Ahmad coming in on the right hand side, he would rather have Garnacho, who he knows will run up and down that pitch non-stop, in comparison to someone who is a more like Sancho, Van der Beek. These are players that didn't really flourish under Erik ten Hag because they are more possession. They are better made for possession style football, in my opinion.
Well, has he been given a veto from the board that you need to play counter-attacking style of football? Has he been given a veto? And I said this months ago. I don't know if it was on your channel, Mina, or on site. But
I don't think it's that he's been told to. I think it's that he can't play possession football with the team that he has, so he has to play another style.
Well, subliminally, then he's been told to, because before he comes to the club and he's in the stands at Selhurst. I've been to Selhurst, and he's there watching the game. Before the two footballers need new contracts, Bruno Fernandes and Rashford at that point. Throughout that next season that he's at the club, he tries to delay contracts and he tries to talk like he has power over contracts, but he most probably doesn't. But Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford's contracts get extended. He had the power to maybe get rid of Ronaldo's and everybody else's and a few others, but those two footballers, there was no doubt in my mind that they told him, listen, don't say nothing. You're taking these men on. And with that, becomes counter-attack vertical football. You know, when you've got two heavy players in the 10 position, you have so much influence on that final third. So if you're always erratic there, you're playing counter-direct football. If you're always somebody that looks like doesn't look like Jamie Vardy, but thinks like Jamie Vardy, he's not. Rashford has nowhere near. He needs to watch more of Jamie Vardy. I keep saying it. He needs to watch more of Jamie Vardy, because Jamie Vardy's timing of getting into that space in between the goalkeeper and the last defender is world class. So he needs to do that. But if you're a player like that, you're thinking of direct counter-attacking football. Jamie Vardy won the Premier League doing it. You know, so it can be done, you know, timing yourself in between the space of the last defender and the goalie and bursting through the line and waiting for the pass. But, you know, those two footballers mean counter-attacking, or not counter-attacking, but direct vertical football. Until that changes, or you get other world-class players around them, really world-class ones, because Donny is not showing it. Sancho never showed it. You know, Ahmad hasn't had the chance to show it, but until you get world-class ones, proven ones that can work around it, you might actually be able to see the hybrid football. That's the scariest thing, or that's like the maddest thing. You might actually be able to see it. So we never know.
Predictions for Saturday?
I think we'll win against Everton. I think it's going to be another 2-1 game. Like you said, Everton are fighting for their lives, and again, like I said, to embark on a counter-attacking style of football, I think is a lot easier than being brave and risking your whole half of the pitch. You know, essentially that's what Man City done against Man United. They're saying we're going to play in your half and we're going to risk the space in behind. That's what all the inferior teams do to us at home, basically. They say, you know what, we're just going to do a low block. And they have the better look at the goal, basically. They only have, once they kick it over the defenders, they have basically just the goalie there. We have to get through 11 players. You have to have technical elegance. You have to be, a lot better than what these players are, basically. And that's the issue. So, breaking down the low block, Sean Dyche's low block, by the way, which all this guy does is eat, sleep, drink, low block. So, it's going to be a difficult game. It's not going to be easy, but we should have the quality. And if Ten Hag plays, if they can do the high press for at least 60 minutes and you get a good 20 minutes, 25 minutes, we should be able to produce 2 goals. And 2 goals at Old Trafford should win you the game. So 2-1.
I think it's going to be I think it'll be a 1-0 or it'll be a 1-1. I'm just concerned. I'm just concerned. But I think United will try to get a result. I think it's going to be a dog. I think it's going to be a sluggish game. It's a 12:30 kickoff on a Saturday, off the back of a 5-day break, basically, since the last match. So I think it's going to be like a very slow. It's going to be proper low block. United just passing left to right, side to side, and then a switch is just going to go off in Pickford's head, and he's going to do something unhinged. And I think. Yeah, I'm not expecting for it to be I can't remember the last time on this season in particular that I've watched a game that has blown me away, a performance that has blown me away by Man United.
Okay, well, the positive is then, I think we usually have good games against Everton, where a lot of goals are scored, I think,
Away, yes.
Yeah, away,
Yeah,
so,
away. At Goodison Park, yes. I can't remember, I can't really remember last year. At home, I remember. Actually, not at home. We slapped them 4-0. I think it was in April last year, which is not bad. It'll be interesting. I think a big part of how United play, in my opinion, is if Rasmus Højlund comes back. But I would rather he doesn't play this weekend and he comes back against Liverpool. That's my opinion.
Facts. That would be perfect management from the manager. Will he do that? I doubt it. This guy loves to play his strongest side every single football match he gets. He wants the best team.
Because he's fighting for his job. He's fighting for his job essentially right now. Yeah,
and he has a shit squad. Excuse my French, but he has a rubbish squad as well. So he has to play his best team usually. That, like I was saying, I put a tweet out against the City game. I was like, I'm at this point I would change things, but this guy is more patient than all of us. He's too patient. When he thinks about his squad too much, most probably, because when he puts it out, that's it. He's keeping that for 70 minutes, definitely. 60 minutes, definitely. But he should change it. Against City, he should have changed it earlier. But when you look at this bench, who are you? The quality, the team automatically drops. 60 rating each attack 20 now. Defense 20, midfield 20. It's gone. There's nothing. You're replacing it with mess. Whereas City could replace it and keep the levels or improve them with their. We're going to lose this game, but it was an extremely valiant effort. But against Everton now, the squads maybe look a little bit balanced in terms of quality in there, and we have a bit better quality at home. The ambience, the crowd. We should win it.
It'll be an interesting one, man. It will be an interesting one. Big up to Marcel. Big up to everyone in the chat. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out. We're not that far away from 100. So if you are watching this back on replay, be sure to hit the like button so we can get there. Marcel, let them know, man, where they can find you on socials and all of that.
Yeah, Twitter, Marcel 11 of 10. I think TikTok, Moments of Marcel. I'm there.
There you go. You lot know where to find Marcel. You lot know where to find me as well. As always, I don't think I will be streaming this weekend, but match day vlog. I got some fun content basically coming over the weekend that you don't want to miss out. So be sure to check it out. You lot know what it is. We're going to get a name eventually. I just say Mina times Marcel. That's all I'm calling it right now, but I'm going to think of a name for it. You guys know what it is. We'll be back next week. As always, big up to everyone. Big up Marcel. As always, guys, it's your girl Mina. Peace.